Hurricane Beryl has battered the southeastern Caribbean, quickly rolling towards Jamaica and Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. After making history as the earliest Category 4 storm on record, Beryl has now been upgraded to a potentially catastrophic Category 5. It's caused flooding and storm surges in Barbados and the Windward Islands and is being fueled by record warm waters.
Hurricane Beryl barreling its way through the Caribbean. What started as a tropical depression became an unstoppable force in less than 2 days, with winds of up to 240 kilometers per hour. These satellite images show the hurricane as it was rapidly intensifying. Its eye right in the middle, a calm area, surrounded by the so-called eye wall, a ring of devastating thunderstorms.
If you are in the eye, do not go out in the eye. It's not safe. The storm is moving very quickly, and the backside of the eye wall will move in on over you very, very fast, and you do not want to be outside in those conditions.
Here in Barbados, the hurricane left a trail of devastation.
The damage is right now, I'm real hard working because this is a lot of work. This is more than a week's work here. We have sand also, not on the outside, but on the inside of the shop. There's lots of sand in the shop. We gotta bring out everything. First, use the shovel and scrape all the sand out, and then to wash it out.
Beryl is expected to grow even stronger as it moves through the Caribbean, setting a dangerous tone for what's expected to be an extraordinary hurricane season.
Let's bring in Matthew Cappucci. He's a meteorologist and atmospheric scientist following Beryl's developments from the U.S. East Coast. Matthew, good to see you again. Now, exactly how dangerous is this hurricane?
Well, this thing barreled through Grenada earlier on with a confirmed wind gust to 194 kilometers per hour at the airport and a 2 to 3 meter storm surge. Now winds are close to 255 kilometers per hour. And in reality, it's only about 2 or 3 kilometers per hour away from being a Category 5 hurricane, which has no precedent at this time of year. It is the most quickly intensifying storm on record in the Atlantic ever before September. Our records date back to 1851. It is the farthest south Category 4 storm on record at any time of year, and it's also the strongest storm we've seen so early in the season. Simply stated, it's off the charts in so many different areas and geographically as well. Now it's in the Caribbean. It's flirting with Category 5 strength. It won't really bother anyone these next 36 to 48 hours, but by mid-Wednesday, it will likely sideswipe Jamaica and eventually could threaten Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula.
You call it off the charts in many different ways. Is this a one-off, or do you see this as part of a wider trend?
It's a really good question. This fits into an overall trend that does bear the fingerprint of climate change. Now, it takes meteorological factors to get a hurricane like this going. You need calm upper-level winds so as to not tear a storm apart. You need favorable rising motion, and you need kind of spreading aloft to sort of vacuum air upwards. We had all those things, and those are sort of coincidences that happen with the weather. But that will make a hurricane. That won't make a top-tier hurricane like this. The fact that water temperatures are near record warm for this time of year, they really are reminiscent of like September peak season, certainly not late June or early July. And they're running 2 to 3 degrees Celsius above average. That is something that we can closely link to climate change. And we know that anthropogenic or man-made climate change is expected to continue to have an increasing role in stronger storms, more rapidly intensifying storms, and storms that sort of happen earlier in the season than they otherwise would. This one is kind of the trifecta.
Beryl went from a tropical depression to a major hurricane in less than 2 days. Now, could you explain how exactly a storm like Beryl gathers strength that way and that quickly?
Yeah, so we define rapid intensification as any storm that sees an increase in maximum sustained winds of about 35 miles per hour in 24 hours, so something like 55 kilometers per hour. This thing jumped from a tropical depression to a Category 4 in 48 hours. And to get this, you need very warm sea surface temperatures, all that fuel, but you also need really calm winds aloft. If the winds are a little bit too harsh, too hostile upstairs, it'll tear apart a fledgling storm. Likewise, you can't have changing winds with heights. So ironically, you need an abundance of calm to get one of the most ferocious storms on Earth. The other thing that I think really helped, we had a clockwise spinning high pressure off to the north and east and a counterclockwise spinning low to the north and west. And essentially, those created like a little, almost like two interlocking gears and a filament of air that was moving away from the storm. And that meant we could evacuate more exhaust air at the upper levels, which allowed us to suck in more warm, moist air from below. It's almost like if you put a leaf blower or a fan at the top of a chimney, the more air you blow out the top, the more air can rush in and fuel the fire from below. And that's exactly what happened with Beryl these past few days.
The one and only Matthew Cappucci breaking it down like only he can. Thank you so much for all those insights.
Thank you.